Making last-minute arrangements for press credentials, installing the public address system on the President's speaker platform at the Biltmore Estate, and shucking corn for the $500 a couple banquet are just a few of the things going on today in last-minute preparation for the presidential visit. Early this morning, the White House staff advance team was busy checking and rechecking the nitty-gritty things, like parking availability at the airport and shuttle bus arrangements for the press. The U.S. Air Force is also busy bringing in equipment needed to accommodate Air Force One, all the way down to the boarding ramps for the president and his traveling party. Late this afternoon, construction started on the speaker and camera platforms at the Asheville airport. At the rally here for Congressman Lamar Gudger, there will be bands, drill teams, and drum corps to welcome the president when he arrives on Air Force One at 4:30. President Carter will speak on behalf of Gudger here before traveling by motorcade to the Biltmore Estate's Deer Park restaurant at 5 o'clock. The chefs here on the Biltmore Estate have been working 14-hour days for the last week in preparation for President Carter's visit tomorrow night. They'll be serving over 400 guests here on the estate. They'll be serving New York strip steak, ham, chicken, a variety of seafood dishes, and a variety of vegetables, including corn on the cob. Also for dessert, peanut raisin pie. The guests will also have over 12 different kinds of salad to choose from. And after it's all over, for a snack, they'll all be given a pack of Jimmy Carter peanuts that, of course, say vote Democratic. From the Biltmore Estate, the president will return to the airport by motorcade, where he's scheduled to take off at 6:35 to travel to Columbia, South Carolina, to campaign for U.S. Senate candidate Pug Ravenel. Lyle West, Dateline News.
It's not every day a president lands at the Asheville airport, and today, for the most part, the weather was perfect for president watching. And did the people ever turn out?
And what better way to spend the last day of summer than to watch the crowd watching the president? It was marching bands. It had showgirl legs. And there were either Democrats for Ingram opponent Jesse Helms, or maybe Republicans who just wanted to lay eyes on a president. The crowd wore bonnets. It was souvenir conscious. It was a clarinetist waiting for the show to begin. And it was a 6-year-old who had never seen a real live president before except on television.
If you could talk to him, what would you ask him or tell him?
Does he eat peanuts?
Do you think he does?
Yeah.
If President Carter ever has visions of dancing peanuts, there were these tapping goobers to make him feel right at home.
It was not the last hurrah, nor the first, but it was definitely the biggest political hurrah Western North Carolina has seen in some time. The business of the day, politics. President Carter trying to boost the campaigns of two Democrats, John Ingram and Lamar Gudger. The president used some federal money to try and sway the 4,000 people to vote Democratic in November. He announced that the Asheville airport would be getting $2 million federal dollars to finish extending its runway.
I can announce today there'll be $2 million more coming in here next month to add 1,500 more feet to your runway, giving you an 8,000-foot runway to connect you with the outside world.
That was not expected, but it was very welcome. The $2 million will finish paying the $5 million tab for construction. Everybody, not just news people, waited for the president to tell them something about his new peace agreements in the Mideast. It never came, but he did mention it.
It's partially your credit that we finally ended the Camp David summit with success, because I was eager to come back to North Carolina, and I wasn't the only one who was eager to leave. The last day when everything seemed to be going wrong, Prime Minister Begin came up to me and said, "Mr. President, I promise that Israel will get out of the Sinai if you'll let me get out of Camp David."
The politicking went on for a while, then the man who likes to be called Jimmy took off for the fabulous Biltmore house in Howard.
Seeing the President of the United States is a once-in-a-lifetime thing for a lot of people. Today, over 4,000 people stood in sprinkling rain and threatening thunderstorms for about a 3-hour wait just to see President Jimmy Carter. The ones we talked to say it was well worth the wait.
Was pleased to hear about the new airport. and I was interested in civil service reform. I work for the federal government.
JD, have you ever seen a president before?
No.
Did you get to see Mr. Carter?
Yeah.
Did you get to shake his hand?
Yes.
Did you get to shake President Carter's hand?
Oh, yes, definitely. After standing out here for about 2 hours or 3, that couldn't go by without shaking hands.
The president was warmly welcomed by Ashevilleans, whether they got to shake his hand or not. About 500 people stayed around after the rally or traveled to the airport just to see him off. As he boarded Air Force One, he turned and waved to the crowd. At almost 7:30, Air Force One lifted off, 1 hour later than scheduled, and the president continued his trip to Columbia, South Carolina. Lyle West, Dateline, the Asheville Airport.